An anime that left us all wanting more after its season finale, with its story being jam-packed full of action, dark themes, and even an important lesson you can learn from my last video. Here are 10 anime that are similar to Akame Ga. Alrighty guys, so first on our list we have Attack on Titan. I'm sure everyone's heard about Attack on Titan by now, but just to give you a rundown, humans are basically forced to survive these giant creatures called Titans, and living behind these giant walls, they have to defend themselves and trying to live in this post-apocalyptic world. They've actually been eating humans as long as the human race can remember. In fact, they don't remember much about being outside the walls, and one regular day, there's a giant titan that goes ahead and attacks the wall and smashes it to pieces. Then suddenly a whole group of titans attack, and that's basically where we get to see our story start with Eren with his two friends Mikasa and Armin. On the day the giant titan attacked, that's the same day that Eren lost his mother. In fact, he actually saw the titan devour his mother right in front of him. And since then he's vowed to destroy the entire world of Titans. But as the series goes on, we see that it's not exactly easy, as bullets have no effect of them, slashing them is not exactly effective either, because they can actually regenerate effectively. So the only way that they can actually be killed is with a slice to the back of their neck. Its similarity to Akame Ga is actually for basically having a brutal world to survive, where they can end up in situations where it's every man for himself. Even the soldiers that are trained end up dying just from shock and freezing from seeing these monsters. Not only that, but both series have main characters that do die often as the series progresses. But with the intensity of the action and the unraveling of the story, this is an anime that will definitely keep you rocking in your seats, aching for more. And now we have a definitely underrated anime that's out there. We have Basilisk. This is about two rival ninja clans, the baddest of the baddest, engaging in a bloody feud that has been going on for centuries. After a temporary ceasefire, they ended up going at it again, this time sending out 10 of their strongest warriors from each side. So we then get to see incredible fights that really goes as far as animation can go in this anime. In terms of the combat skills that you'll be able to see, each warrior having their own unique skill and each fight making you want to see the next. This is an anime you definitely must see. The similarity with it and Akame Ga, it takes place in a brutal world, so both title animes have a brutal world when they both take place in. So with that in mind, and the fact that the fights are unique just as Akame Ga has unique fights as well with each warrior, it's definitely interesting to see who comes out the victor in each battle, and they're always won in some out-of-the-box ways. A must-watch, this is Basilisk. This anime I hold near and dear. This is Black Clover. At first, when it started off, it wasn't all that from the first episode, but with the way it ended itself from the first episode, I was hooked. Ever since then, I've been a crazy fan of this anime. It's enjoyable, it's action-packed, you can't not have a good time when watching Black Clover. The story revolves around Asta, a young boy who seemingly is born without any magic power in a world that is based solely on magic, and he's born with literally no magic. That's something that's unheard of in the world that he lives in. So with his fellow mages from the Black Bulls, Asta plans to become the next Wizard King. Both of them are fully action-packed. They do bring aspects of humor in some darker moments that can really offset it sometimes, and it is placed perfectly. The way Asta is with the Black Bulls reminds me of the way Tatsumi was with Night Raid. They have a familiar, family-like connection. The adventures that they go on can also remind you a bit of Akame Ga, and the special abilities of the weapons do have some similarities depending on the character that you're referring to, and they can have similar levels of brutality, even though Akame Ga goes a lot darker than Black Clover respectively. Black Clover can have dark moments just the same. So ultimately we have great battles, humor, and the setting of the Black Bulls and Night Raid is also similar. It's always enjoyable to watch, and I highly recommend Black Clover to anyone. I'll definitely have to get more into Black Clover and why it's such a great anime in another video, but for now, definitely take it into your list of recommendations. Up next we have Black Lagoon. So we start with Rokuro, a small-time salaryman who is carrying documents for his company, when the ship he is traveling on is attacked by pirates. When the ship he's traveling on gets attacked by pirates, he's kidnapped and discovers to his dismay that his employer's main concern is to ensure that the documents don't get into the wrong hands, even if it means sending the carrier to the bottom of the sea. Now, with his former life ruined and his kidnappers seemingly comparatively friendly, Rokuro decides to join their merry band of mercenaries and sets out with a new career to the shadier corners of the South China Sea. Now, in respect to the characters, we do see them start off a bit hostile to the mercs / assassins, and alternatively from that, they both have like a group. For example, Black Lagoon has their group of mercenaries, Akame Ga has a group of assassins, and each has a character that's really not of the norm, with also starting with a character ending up into an entirely different world of situations with hired guns or swords for kill. They both also have great moments of humor that work very well to offset the darker aspects of the assassinations, and both are actually serious in the handling of death. Whilst the plot differs, they both offer a decent amount of gore and violence in both Akame Ga and Black Lagoon. Both series feature physically strong characters with the similar anti-hero attitude. So there's also a mix of assassins and mercenaries. Apart from that, Black Lagoon offers great villains, characters, and an awesome storyline. It's definitely worth the watch, so tune in to Black Lagoon. Up next on our list is literally the definition of short and sweet. We have Claymore. Now, I remember this anime being incredibly jam-packed, full of action, fast-paced, and keeps you aching for more, especially with the season finale. This is an anime that you must see. This one takes place in medieval Europe. We get to witness how humans are living in fear to Yoma, demon-like creatures that literally feed on humans. The Yoma are kinda different though, because they can even shapeshift, making themselves hide amongst humans when they want to feed, and humans aren't able to tell any differences once they look human-like. They can't detect them in the least. So the solution to this are the Claymores. These are beings that are referred to as silver-eyed witches that are able to actually detect them. They're actually infused with the flesh of Yoma, giving them incredible strength, speed, and recovery abilities. And they all answer to a mysterious group known as the Organization. So as the story progresses, we get to follow a young Claymore by the name of Claire. We see how she was called into a village being terrorized by Yoma, and in the process of killing a Yoma in the village, we find that there's a relative who's a young boy named Raki. Somehow a relative of the Yoma, that is. And with the Yoma now dead, this is leaving him with no one to take care of him. So she decides to put him in her care, and now they both travel, killing powerful Yoma on the way. Now, in terms of the similarity with Akame Ga and Claymore, they both again take place, like our previous mentions, take place in a brutal world. Their weapons are pretty much just swords and weapons from that time period. And just as you have female badasses in Akame Ga, you have them, but in more abundance in this show. And it's jam-packed full of action, is just the same, and definitely a must-watch. This is Claymore. Up next we have Darker Than Black. It's been 10 years since Heaven's Gate appeared in South America, and Hell's Gate appeared in Japan, veiling the once familiar night sky with an oppressive skyscape. Their purpose is unknown. These gates are spaces in which the very laws of physics are ignored. With the appearance of the gates, we then had contractors, who, in exchange for their humanity, are granted supernatural abilities. In the Japanese city surrounding Hell's Gate, Section 4 Chief Misaki finds herself at odds with an infamous contractor often called Black Reaper. In the underground world, just like his associates, he undertakes missions for the mysterious and ruthless syndicate while slowly unveiling the dark layers covering an evil plot that threatens the very existence of the contractors. From the mind of Tensai Okamura comes a sci-fi thriller taking the form of a subtle exposure on a war in which political positions and justice have no choice but to war exclusively in the shadows. In terms of the similarities, just like the characters from Akame Ga, the characters in this each have special abilities that are really significant. Both of them have serious deaths that take place, pure action, gore, and will really keep you waking. Another definite watch on our list, this is Darker Than Black. Up next we have Kill la Kill. Our story follows Ryoko, who's trying to find more information about her father, who was killed when she was younger. So now, as a transfer student at this school, she fights her ways to the top to get more information about this. And along the way, she gets this sailor uniform that actually grants her great powers to assist in the battles thereof. The uniform is actually also sentient, and is also named Sanketsu. Not only does it give her power, she has to compensate by her own blood in order to do so. As she battles on, she encounters others that have uniforms just like hers, but aren't nearly as comparable in terms of power. As the story goes on, we learn that these sentient uniforms have a lot more than just power to offer as it relates to their origins. Find out all of that in the story of Kill la Kill. In terms of the similarities, besides the protagonist looking like Akame in some sense, there's a lot of blood and violence. The humor is also similar, and plays a similar role as it did in Akame Ga Kill, but is a bit more abundant in this anime. Also, the battles being epic as well with the unique weaponry just like in Akame Ga Kill. It's an exciting watch and overall another must watch in terms of a similar anime to Akame Ga Kill. Up next we have Mirai Nikki, also known as Future Diary in English. This story follows a high school student named Yuki, an average schooler. He's shown to be shy and a bit of a loner. That is, until he suddenly gets thrown into a brutal world where everyone wants to kill him. He gains the ability called the Future Diary, the ability to see into the future. He was brought into this by this anime's version of their god of the universe, which actually forced him into this brutal game. He has to assassinate other contestants in order to become the new god of that universe. As it goes along, we see that he has an obsessed fan by the name of Yuno. Yuno is literally willing to do everything for him and has a lot of dark secrets that the anime unravels as it goes on. And we get to see incredible battles that happen as it goes on, trying to survive for the sole sake of becoming the next god of the universe. The similarities between Akame Ga Kill and Future Diary lies in the fact that they're both assassination types of anime. Where Akame Ga Kill is more direct, full-on direct battles, Future Diary has a lot more tactful procedures that you'll notice as it goes along. The characters are actually very motivated to become the new god, as they actually have quite disturbing past that they all want to have rectified in some sense. It's very interesting to see how each user has their own Future Diary operate in a different way from the other, that it helps them based on their personality in becoming the next god of that universe. See how this plays out in this anime, Mirai Nikki. Don't miss it. Now here we have the 7 Deadly Sins. It takes place in a medieval Europe setting. The Holy Knights have been overthrown by their own kingdom. These people are oppressed and famine is on the rise. And the blame for all this is put on the 7 warriors. King of Britannia and one of his daughters have been locked up. One of the king's daughters, Elizabeth, manages to escape in search of the sins. She believes the sins are innocent and are the only ones who can restore order to the kingdom. Very early into the series, we get to see how she finds Melodius, their leader. They then go on a quest to find the rest of the sins. As the quest goes on, we see that Melodius is incredibly powerful and his only apparent weakness is seeing the ones he loves die constantly over and over again, and seeks to actually find a way to break that cycle. In terms of its similarity now to Akame Ga Kill, both anime features incredibly unique weapons that are made for interesting battles. The Holy Knights and many of the other characters have weapons that are unique to them. Some can control lightning, some can deflect all physical attacks, some can even create an unbreakable shield, and the list goes on. This is definitely another that needs to drop onto your recommended list. Apart from this, their similarities also rely on the fact that they are also in the medieval era, portrayed as villains as well, just as Night Raid. Both have the kingdom that they have to oppose, and it's jam-packed full of action. Again, an anime you need to put in your recommended list. This is 7 Deadly Sins. Now the last on our list, we have Tokyo Ghoul. This is another favorite. Tokyo Ghoul takes place in a modern and normal society, except for one thing that's out of the ordinary. There are ghouls running around all over the place devouring humans. The story follows a high schooler named Kaneki. He's an introvert that lives alone and only has one friend. His world was flipped upside down one day when he decided to date. He managed to score himself a date with a pretty girl, takes her out, decides to walk her home, and it turns out she's actually a ghoul herself and wants to have him for dinner, literally. He manages to survive and has a piece of her inside his body, transforming him into a ghoul himself. Suddenly his life is flipped upside down as ghouls can't even eat normal food. So they feast in human flesh. Now, there's an organization that was designed to hunt down these ghouls. Its entire aim is to totally annihilate all the ghouls in Tokyo. Kaneki suddenly finds himself and the new ghoul friends he's made being hunted down. As it goes on, we see how this progresses with his new way of life. Now, in terms of the similarity to Akame Ga, both of these shows are pretty sad, wherein both shows actually have the main character losing a lot of loved ones. They were both brought into a brutal world, one where the tyrant is a ruler, the other with ghouls killing off society. This definitely deserves to be on the list, especially with the loads of bloody fights, tons of action, and incredible powers that each character possesses. Get the opportunity, if you haven't already, to unravel this dark story. This is Tokyo Ghoul. Now let me just take the time to show my appreciation on my road to 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate everyone that has subscribed, everyone that has commented. It's really greatly appreciated. I'm actually making this upload on my birthday, fun fact. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it with the content that's been there. I'm definitely working on uploads that can be provided every Sunday going forward now. Thank you so much for watching. If you know any other anime that you know that is really similar to Akame Ga, please share it in the comment section below and I'll be more than happy to chat about it with you. Please remember to hit the subscribe button, like, share, and comment. This has been Unique. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.